and
You ready?
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
Most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
USA. Come on.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's a special place, and I am here to announce my candidacy.
Oh my God. I'm just playing with your little tiny brains, you little tiny unhappy little Democrat Socialist and Democrats and liberal media brains, just messing with you. I love it, man. I love it. I was watching, or actually I was listening, thank you very much, on Newsmax Plus, thank you very much, the app, in my Bronco Buck yesterday. I was driving home, and I'm listening to this speech, and it's speech to Donald Trump, and he's in Georgia, and he's talking about a whole bunch of stuff, and he just started riffing. And I'm like, oh my God. And when he said that line, I went, oh, heads are exploding. And we're never going to have a candidate or a president who speaks so beautifully, weaving seamlessly from script to improvisation. Oh, shut up, you guys. Hey, Donald Trump, shut up. He's friggin' brilliant. He does stand-up comedy. Then he jumps right back to the script. There's nobody better. The man is absolutely brilliant. He knows how to work a crowd. He knows ebbs and flows. He knows how to bring them up and bring them down. And he is just hilarious. And it was a brilliant speech. And then there, of course, the line. This is the line, because we have officially declared war on communism, by the way. We are going to stomp these little spoiled entitled brats who are overeducated and underemployed, and we are going to put them out of our misery. If you think that you're going to take over our country with communism, okay, about 100 million of us are very well armed physically and intellectually, and we're not going to let it happen, okay? Because, see, children don't get their way, all right? Not in our world. No, children, they can demand candy at the cash register, and we're the mom and dad say, nah, and if you say another word, I'm going to give it to you when we get to the car. That's what we're going to do with these punks. But anyway, here is Donald Trump yesterday. Line of the day.
America is back. It's stronger than ever before, and I'm telling you, it's only going one way. It's going up. As long as we keep our current thinking, our current system, it's going up. If you go the other way, nothing ever succeeds.
No.
I made the statement once, with communism, everything turns to shit.
Yeah, okay? Yeah, that's true. It's true.
It's true.
100%.
Terrible thing.
It does. And honestly, we're just not going to let these spoiled little children take our country. I mean, you can dream all you want. You can dream all you want, but there's a little bit of history and a whole lot of battle hardened souls. We have buried our dead on foreign shores, stopping Marxism and communism around the world, and many have suffered, and many have died, and many have returned home wounded mentally or physically, and we're never going to let it win here. And if you think you can do it, you are absolutely wrong, because we'll do anything to stop it. We will fight you to the end. That's just it. And I believe that there is an awakening happening. The great thing about this is the Democrat Party is being split, cleaved down the middle, if you will. And this is kind of interesting, because I've been talking about how the Democrat Party is going to have to reinvent itself or disappear into the dustbin of history. They've been going left. And this DSA attempted takeover of the Democrat Party may be the smelling salts that Democrats with a modicum of common sense needed to wake them out of their frenzy or their mental whatever that convinced them about stupid things like an open border is fine and defunding the police is fine and boys can become girls and compete in girls' sports. All of this nonsense. Maybe this is the smelling salts to make them go, whoa, what the hell? What? What do we do? Okay, now we can get back to something. And I've been talking about this for a while. And I've been talking to common sense Democrats. And my producer, Ken Redneck MacGyver, he said, Robbie, really, you don't need to be talking to them because the Democrats don't listen to this show. And I said, okay, all right. And then yesterday had a little meeting, a little powwow with Ralph Renzi, who's now in charge of Newsmax Audio, and he showed me some of the qualitative and quantitative data of Newsmax in general. And guess what? There are a lot of Democrats on the fence who watch Newsmax and listen to my show and watch my show. There are. So my deal here is, you know how Bill Maher is as a leftist? He's kind of open-minded to hear stuff. Well, how about this? I've been saying to you Democrats, I said 80% of us believe the country's headed in the wrong direction. 80% of us can come together to save her. So why don't we get back to the old stuff, all right? Roe v. Wade is gone. Sorry, all right? But we can disagree. I say that abortion should be incredibly rare and incredibly early, all right? And you disagree with me, but let's disagree on that. All right, let's disagree on some other stuff, okay? Maybe I'm never going to live under socialized medicine. That's it. But how about we stop making Medicare and Medicaid such gigantic cesspools of corruption? How about that? How about we come together on getting rid of corruption? How about, and here's another thing we agree on. Are you ready for this? Voter ID. Oh, my God, voter ID. You and me, we disagree. You to a little bit lesser degree. You agree about 80% of the time. 80% of you Democrats, 80-20, believe that you should prove who you are before you vote. Guess what? Me too. How about that? How about that? How about if you love this country, you don't believe the pap that these morons are selling you about our country, and you're not about ready to watch our country fall or let some little jackweed bureaucrat take over your business or your maybe you own an apartment complex. How about, or you know the folly of government-run grocery stores and socialism in general. How about that? How about you Democrats tell the Democrat Socialists who are running under the Democrat ticket, you cannot run under the Democrat ticket. You have to run as Democrat Socialists. We are going to have Democrat candidates. You guys can run on your own. See how well that works. Because right now what is happening to you, Democrat Party, you ever see the movie Independence Day? The aliens move in, devour everything, and then move on. That's what's going on with your Democrat Party. And all of you people... and I'm not talking about, because most of you Democrat leaders are bat guano crazy. Most of you are down with all of this nonsense. Now you're beginning to realize the DSA is going to eliminate you, all right? But I'm talking about rank and file Democrat voters who are not so bat guano crazy. But you still hang a flag out in front of your lawn and you still stand during the national anthem. We can work together to save America. I believe that. I really, really do. And yesterday, Donald Trump, oh, my God, what a good speech. And I know you've been told the last couple of years Donald Trump is Hitler and Donald Trump is all this. And it's always been nonsense. It's always been absolute garbage, and you need to kind of wake up and realize that you've been fed a line about a lot of things, an absolute lot of things. Here's Bill Maher talking about, let me see if I can find this. Bill Maher talking about Donald Trump and people calling him a Nazi. Let me find the spot here. Yeah, here you go. Listen to this. This is Bill Maher. I want you to listen to Bill Maher.
When they say Trump is Hitler, such a dumb thing to say. First of all, counterproductive. Also, he's not Hitler. But this Fuentes kid, that's Hitler.
Yeah, there you go. So how about you kind of just settle down with your TDS. You realize that crime is at an all-time low. Murder's lowest rate in 130 years. You realize that the southern border is closed. $20 trillion of investment is coming back in the country. Manufacturing is returning to the country. People are realizing what a gigantic scam higher education is. And hell, Democrats and Republicans, you got your kids graduated from college with $200,000 worth of debt and no prospect for a job. How about we come together to make America great again? and you kind of just chill on the TDS crap for a while and realize, I don't know, maybe it's a good thing Donald Trump cleaned up the reflecting pool and lined it and made it look amazing. And maybe it's really wrong for somebody to vandalize the damn thing where Martin Luther King Jr. gave his speech. How about you go, yeah, that's really bad. That's a bad look and a really, really bad thing. Or how about you common sense Democrats go, oh, I don't know, maybe it's not good for illegal aliens to vote because I'm a citizen. And I have the right to vote. I want to prove that I'm a citizen to vote. And we've got non-citizens over here who get free crap. I mean, that makes any sort of social welfare that you and I need occasionally pale by comparison, so they'll vote Democrat. How about we all come together and realize that's wrong? There are Democrats who believe that. There really, really are. My friends who I had in Maryland for a dozen years, my best friends every New Year's, 5 meals a week, pool parties, crab feasts, the whole deal. They don't talk to me anymore. And there's nothing I can do about that. If they ever decide they want to talk to me, I'll consider letting them back to my life. But I'm not there yet. But I would ask you that if you think that this getting rid of the Senate, getting rid of electing the president, just appointing a president, if you believe in open border, getting rid of the police, getting rid of president, if you think that's insane, I would ask that we join together. You can stay in your party. I'll stay in my party over here. All right? But how about we just agree that that's all bat guano crazy and it needs to be done away with? There you go. There you go. I think we have an accord. I think we have an accord.
A loser, the concept, the policy, it's a loser, and it always has been, and it always will be. They want to give everyone everything away. You want free rent? You want free house?
Yeah.
You want what they don't say is that a year from now, there'll be absolute squalor,
Yeah.
turmoil, and death.
Of course.
And that's the way it's happened all the way.
Yeah.
It goes back thousands of years by different names. And that's why we declare again today that the United States of America will never be a communist country.
Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah. All right, so we got a fantastic show lined up for you today. Much more on the DSA, and the Democrat Party is cleaving itself in half, and at least some common sense Democrats are realizing what they're selling the DSA. It's not happening. KT McFarland on the show today. Michael Charbon on the show today, and I'm just told that the one and only Brigitte Gabriel is on the show today. Oh, my goodness. Can you believe that? So let's get the ball rolling. The number is 800-922-6680. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Talk Radio 680, WCBM.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details. And numbers were just released by the Democrats that in the past 14 months, a historic record of 0 illegal aliens have been admitted into the United States. And now our crime numbers are among the lowest they've ever been. It's plummeting downward. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Nationwide crime has been the lowest numbers that we've had in many, many decades. Last year, we achieved the largest drop in the murder rate ever recorded.
Wow.
To the lowest level in 125
Isn't
years.
that amazing?
Since 1900. That's before my father was born. My father.
Did you notice that no Democrat has said anything positive about that? And I'm actually kind of surprised that Jake Tapper says, well, what are murderers going to do for a living? You know, that kind of thing. Honestly, it is utterly ridiculous that we've had to operate in this vacuum of any positive news whatsoever about the Trump administration. And I think it's about time that, I think we're kind of done with it.
right.
Oh, sorry. Here's another little bit of Donald Trump yesterday in Georgia. Delivering a terrific speech covering a lot of topics. I've got some audio I want to play. He did a great story about Emmanuel Macron. I'm going to share that in a second. If I can get it to play. Here we go. Try it again. All right. One more time.
Capitalism proven all over the world when it's done right.
Yep.
It's not always done right,
No.
but when it's done right, there's nothing like it. The radical left is actively trying to destroy our children.
Yeah, and the reason why the left in this country, in this Democrat Socialist movement, is attempting this takeover is because they're failing. They're failing. They don't want to put in the effort. They are poor. They went to college. They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on a degree. They have massive amounts of debt. They've been indoctrinated toward Marxism and communism. And now that they're out, they've discovered, after Joe Biden effectively doubled the price of housing, tripled the price of mortgage rates, the printed money left and right, made the dollar worth much, much less. They can't have what rich people have. They've got a great degree that's worthless and an inability to make any money. This Chevalier, no, this the chick who's, I call her a chick, I don't even care, running in Colorado. She's $250,000 in debt. She works as a barista and made $30,000 last year. That's what her degree got her. You can't pay that debt off with $30,000 a year. That's poverty level stuff. But because of that, she wants free housing, free health care, free everything, and everybody to be equally as miserable as she is. And we're not going to do that. We are just not going to do that. I was thinking about this. I made the minimum wage was $3.35 an hour when I was in high school through college. From the age of approximately 14 to 23 years of age, I made around $3.35 an hour. I worked 100 hours a month work study in college, $335, and then I worked on the weekends about 18 hours on radio. Yeah, that was my life in college. So I was bringing home $500, maybe $600. Rent was like $350. Groceries. I didn't have fresh fruit for 4 years. I ate peanut butter banana sandwiches and peanut butter bologna and ramen noodles with ragu pasta sauce. And my idea of pizza was white bread, pizza quick, and a piece of American cheese on it under the broiler. That's that. And guess what? It was a mother bleeper. And when I got out of college, I had a single bed on a metal frame and no television from the age of 18 to the age of 29. No television in my apartment. But now you just expect everything. Now you can have a $1,200 phone in your pocket. You can order Uber Eats, have anything delivered, have every streaming service, watch 1,000 movies, whatever you want to do, and you're making $30,000 a year with a stupid degree in Elizabethan poetry or whatever or art history, and you can't do anything with it. Well, I'm sorry, too bad. Here's an idea. How about innovate? How about create something? How about maybe can create a consultancy for people in your shoes on how to get out of that? How to get out of that. But saying you're just going to destroy the greatest engine of individual and economic opportunity in the history of the world, if you don't believe me, look at our freaking GDP. It ain't going to happen.
Future with the disaster known as communism.
Yeah.
It's communism.
Yeah. You bet. Yep.
This isn't a social democrat. These are communists.
Yep.
By another name, right?
Yeah.
As I said in my recent address at Mount Rushmore recently, I don't know if anybody saw it, such a beautiful place.
Yeah, it's a great place. The fireworks was amazing. Joe Biden took them away.
The communists want to take it down. They try taking Mount Rushmore down.
Yeah.
They want to blow it up. They want to take it down. They shouldn't be up there. These people are crazy.
Yeah, they are.
But communism is, in my opinion, communism is the single greatest threat to our country and its history, including even World War I and World War II, Pearl Harbor, 9/11. I think it's the greatest threat that I've ever seen to our country. These people are stone cold crazy.
Yeah, this is why we need to put them out of our misery. And we're going to. We are absolutely going to. We are ready to go. This is the story, though. This is a very funny line yesterday where Trump is just riffing. And this is where I say that Donald Trump is the greatest public speaker as a political candidate since Lincoln. And I do mean that 100%. Here is what he said about Emmanuel Macron not lowering his drug prices and making it fair for Americans when they buy their prescriptions.
And I called up France. I started with Emmanuel Macron.
Macron.
I said, Emmanuel,
yes,
you must raise your drug price.
Yes.
Well, Donald, why would I do that?
Uh-huh.
Because we're paying too high, and you're paying too low.
Yeah.
And we're going to meet somewhere in the middle.
There you go.
No, Donald, I will not do that. Yes, you will. No, I won't, Donald. I will not do that, Donald. He said, yes, you will. And then finally he said, no. I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a 200% tariff on every bottle of wine and champagne coming out of France. And he said, Scott was there, and he said, Donald, it would be my honor to do that.
Yes.
And we got France, so we got all of them the same way.
Oh, my God, it's so good. So very good. Coming up from Canada, the host of the Charbon Report, who we always have on this radio program around 12:30 on Thursday, Michael Charbon, joins us next. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, two things matter most: that it works and that you can trust it. I trust Relief Factor. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed. And of course, we'd like you to hear a few of their stories. Mark, for instance, was in tears from his daily hand joint discomfort. But after a week on Relief Factor, he felt 50% better. Now he barely even notices any pain. I can attest to this. It used to hurt getting up and out of chairs or even off the bench press at the gym. Not so much anymore. People like Mark make it easy to find out if you'll be the next person telling us a Relief Factor story and how it gave you your life back. 3 weeks now for just $17.76. Simply go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF. They'll do everything they can to help. We hope you'll be sharing your story too. relieffactor.com or 800-4RELIEF.
Hoothies, goodbye. Hoothies, you'll die. Your killing days are over. You're gonna need more than a 4-leaf clover. Hoothies, you're through. No one feels bad for you. Wiping you out, ending all doubt. If you're destroyed, I doubt that anybody would pout. Hoothies, goodbye. And I'm sure you know why. Trump's bombing you. What will you do? Ending your reign of terror is overdue. Hoothies, they're on the run. Hoothies are done.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's why I switched to Ghost Bed. Helps keep you cool all night, no waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. You get incredible support, less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. I got my Ghost Bed about 6 months ago, and it changed my life. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference for yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is currently having their 4th of July sale, offering my audience an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson, promo code Carson.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, beauty, go.
Take off to the great white north.
Take off.
It's a beauty way to go. Take off to the great white north.
Yeah, it is about 12:35 Eastern Standard Time on a Thursday, which means one thing. Well, actually two things. It's lunchtime for many of us. And, of course, it's time to devour the content that Michael Charbon from the Charbon Report provides us with at this time every Thursday. How are you, brother?
Beautiful, Rob. It's an honor to be with you and your nationally syndicated radio listeners and streaming on Newsmax app in your brand new studio in Washington. Congratulations, Guy. You're singing like a lark.
Can I tell you something, Michael? This little space that we have here is about the size of a nice walk-in closet or a very bad guest bedroom.
Your first bachelor pad.
So I came in here, and then the thing is, and the people here are like, "Who are you?" Because I come in, and I've got a PhD in HGTV, by the way, and I immediately send a design on what I'm going to do to the thing, and then I order acoustic panels. Literally, we are about a week and 3 days into it, and this room is like the room everybody wants to be in. So it's kind of funny, and I wasn't going to just sit here in an empty room. I wanted to do it right, and so we're going to have some fun with it. And when you're in town, we'll have you in studio because we're going to have literally. Are you ready for this, Michael? 3 cameras in here, and three microphones in this little box.
Rob, you're a doer. You're a doer. But I just wanted to come back to something that you said at the beginning of your program.
What?
Can you imagine how far Bill Maher has come?
Yes.
That is now starting to talk to Democrats and tell them that his vote is in flux.
Yeah,
and one of the things, and I think it's the most embarrassing thing that I ever heard. It's this classic Democratic line that was delivered by a nominee for the Maine Senate, and the comment was, "I don't want to harm anyone. All I want to do is just go to the bathroom."
Yes. Well, sorry.
Do they not remember? Do they not remember what happened to Dylan Mulvaney's effort, a $1.4 billion loss with Bud Light? I mean, That's embarrassing. How are you going to motivate voters to vote for you?
Well,
I don't get it.
because there's one sex. I don't know if one of the sexes is overwhelmingly raped more often. And I'm not mistaken, that is cisgendered women, and they feel very, 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 very vulnerable in a place where they get undressed with a man who obviously is out of his nut a little bit, thinking he's a female. So, I mean, honestly, can we just wake the hell up? I had mentioned earlier that this DSA attempted takeover of the party may be the smelling salts that will wake some of these Democrats out of this haze of nonsense they've been under. And I have to believe that there are Democrats out there who aren't No Kings protesters, who aren't people who say that Elon Musk is a Nazi, recognize the southern border being closed is good, recognize bringing manufacturing back into America is good, recognizing lowering crime, redoing the reflecting pool, making Washington, D.C. beautiful. How about you just stop hating everything great just because Donald Trump's name is associated with it? And I think that's the next breach. This is the smelling salts. Maybe the next breach is, how about chill the hell out about Donald Trump?
And the seed of the next generation of that respect was visually represented by a man standing at a baseball game for the national anthem, and some Dinkle Fritz is sitting there, and he whispered in the guy's ear, "I'm a veteran. You stand." And the guy looked at him with a kind of, that look that a dog looks at you when you say the word cookie?
Yeah.
And what he did was he slapped the back of his head.
Yep.
And I think all America wanted to slap the back of that kid's head. You entitled little goofball, stand up and respect what your country stands for.
That move, brother, that move was a long time coming. And I have said that as far as this DSA is concerned, and I have said since 2020 with the temper tantrum. Well, actually, it's been 10 years of a temper tantrum of the Democrat Party, burning its way across the country, throwing a temper tantrum. Donald Trump is a Nazi. All of this, and I said sooner or later the children are going to have a spanking delivered, and we are going to spank these children. And they, you cannot just demand. You're not in the position to demand anything. You're not in the position to demand that the Senate go away. You're not in a position to demand that the border goes away. For God's sake, are you out of your friggin' mind? You're not in a position to get rid of prisons. What are you thinking? Honestly, what are you thinking? You need to have your rear end kicked up between your shoulders. And that was a great metaphor, and I'm glad you brought that up at that Cubs game, by the way.
So, the one problem we have is what you said about the next generation of entitlement, expecting things not working. You and I and many of us of our generation worked many, many hours for free. It was called an internship.
Oh, yeah?
And we didn't expect to get things. We went there to learn and to try and get an edge in. And the harder that we work, the more we impress the potential employer, and we gain valuable information. What is going to happen to this generation of Democrats, majority of them, who are in this kind of woke floating cloud and can't do anything? Because with AI coming, there is going to be more of those, not necessarily harder jobs, because AI is going to take it over. Rob, that is the Democratic Party. That is the communist surge that's happening. We have to think of something that they can do.
Yeah.
Because you know what they say. I mean, it happened in many countries. When people are unemployed and disgruntled, what do? They go to war, or they throw over their government.
Well, the only problem is most of the men in the Democrat Party couldn't bench press two marshmallows on a coffee stir stick, and they wouldn't know how to use a gun if they were presented with one. So I'm not so worried about the soy boys, and I believe that our military and veterans and police and whatever are on the right side of history and are truly patriotic. And I also believe that this Democrat Party is being cleaved in half, or actually more than that. I think that this Democrat Socialist movement, once common sense Democrats begin to speak out, not just to save their hides, but to speak out and say this is wrong, then we drive this movement into oblivion. And I also, what I would suggest, and I'm going to say in the Democrat Party, you need to say, no, you cannot run as a Democrat. If you are a Democrat Socialist of America, you have to run on the Democrat Socialist of America ticket, because you cannot have competing platforms on the same ticket. It's not possible. Let it compete on its own, and it will die. But right now, it is a sucker fish on the back of the Democrat Party. Go ahead.
So how do you make a Democrat feel guilty of that fact, but still appeal to them so you can start to have some semblance of discourse and discussion? Because we have now a divide where when someone says, you're a Republican, oh, you're crazy, I don't want to talk to you, you can't even wear a hat sometimes because some idiot's going to knock it off your head. We have to be able to have a return to what America was famous for, and that was we can agree to disagree, and we can vehemently present our facts and try to change people's minds, but in the end, like a Canadian hockey game, you shake hands and say, you know what, I'm sorry I gave you a stick in the head.
All right, now
but
listen, go ahead, real quick.
So I'm just saying, we need to have that decorum where we can shake hands at the end and agree to disagree.
I think we're done. We're done with the childish temper tantrum, and I believe that we're going to return to civility. We've seen a death of civility. We've seen a death of decency. We've seen the death of shame, and we saw that in that smack to the back of that kid's head. That was the shot heard around the world. All right, let's take a break and come back. We got more with Michael A. Charbon. Michael A. Charbon on Twitter, by the way. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
America is back. It's stronger than ever before. And I'm telling you, it's only going one way. It's going up. As long as we keep our current thinking, our current system, it's going up. If you go the other way, nothing ever succeeds. I made the statement once, with communism, everything turns to shit. Okay? It's true. Terrible thing.
Yes. Yeah, that's Michael. That's Michael. That's Donald Trump yesterday in Georgia. Just a brilliant oration. He's back on. I mean, he's on his game. He's always been on his game. But dang, yesterday he was on his game. And when he said that line, it means a lot. And I think we need to declare war on this attempted rehash of communism by a bunch of limp-wristed soy boys. Michael Charbon, the Charbon Report. Let's talk a little bit about this secondhand smoke you guys are sending us down here from Canada. And Michael, Donald Trump is saying that he wants to impose an additional tariff, a smoke levy on Canada. How's that being received?
Well, you know what? In January of 2025, when California was burning, the first thing that the Canadians did was send water bombers to help to extinguish the fire.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, if you think that last year over 3,000 of the 3,800 fires that were started in Canada was due to lightning to ground ignition. So as soon as the lightning hits the ground and it's dry,
Sure.
It's like a hibachi. It goes up. Now, you have to understand that our forest land is what's called crown land. It's owned by the state, by the government.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
in the United States, the majority of land with forestry is owned privately.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine the vast amounts of forest that we have, how difficult it would be to anticipate where lightning is going to strike so that you can moderate the forest.
Yes. Well, I understand, but let me ask you this. How are you with regard to your forest management? Because if you may recall, in California, particularly around Los Angeles, they are so butthurt about little worms or, snails or whatever the hell, that they don't clear out the ground cover, and consequently, massive amount, it's much more flammable. Is that the way it is with Canada? Is there any sort of blame to put on Canada for their forest management?
What one can say, and honestly, that there is some more financing and funds that need to be put to forest management. Because if you're doing that, you have to make breaks. You have to do it either mechanically, or you have to have controlled burns, or you have to do something to be able to do it. But Rob, it comes back to if you're trying to find a nickel in a football field, do you start at one point? How do you deal with that? It's so massive. So it is more of a natural disaster. My final point with this is we should really get together, both the United States and Canada, with our technology and our air forces and create a sort of water bombing organization that can facilitate wildfires in America and in Canada. Maybe have the United States Air Force have a separate division, and Canada can be involved with Bombardier. However we can do that, because unfortunately, the dryness of that is something we are both going to experience.
Yeah, well, you guys kind of, you've had to deal with secondhand skunk weed smoke from New York coming up that direction, because you can smell it everywhere. You can smell it everywhere.
Speaking of skunk weed.
Yes, go ahead.
Speaking of skunk weed.
What?
Think about this. In 2022, do you remember the Freedom Convoy in Ottawa?
Yes, I do.
Katy Perry's boyfriend at that time, Justin Trudeau, who was our prime minister, decided he was going to enact the Emergency Act and started freezing bank accounts, and everybody was going, "You can't do that! You can't do that!" And we were all up in arms. And thank goodness for Newsmax and the Newsmax team. I was in Ottawa. I was sent to Ottawa by the Newsmax team, who was reporting multiple times during the day on that. We just got a decision. And the decision from the court says that Trudeau's actions were unlawful and unreasonable.
That is good. I've got to tell you something, and they did the same damn thing in here in the United States, a little bit different. In Washington, D.C., the Joe Biden ordered the Capitol Police and D.C. Police to block off all exits from the Beltway into D.C. to keep that from happening. That is good news. Now, what's going to happen? Is there any sort of repercussions? Are people going to get some sort of financial recompense for this, or what?
No, I mean, this is what it's
of course not.
Over 4.5 years ago. This is just a court ruling to say, slap your hand and don't ever do it again.
Wow. Wow.
But I've got more interesting news, Rob.
What?
I
Go
have
ahead.
more interesting news.
Go ahead.
You know when the Artemis 2 spacecraft went to the space station for 9 days?
Yeah.
There was a Canadian on there, right?
Oh.
Jeremy Hansen.
Gotcha.
So he brought a cereal with him. He had a cereal every morning, and it was what's called Goldie's Super Seed Strawberry Lavender. It's basically like a glorified trail mix.
Well, it sounds like it. It sounds like it's super. Say that again. Say that again. What is the name of this thing? It's called the Lavender Gay. What? What is it called?
Cheese and crackers. It's called Super Seed Strawberry Lavender.
Super Seed Strawberry Lavender. Oh, super. I want to have that for breakfast.
You really got to go to the lowest common denominator when I'm
I want to ride a rocket up and get some Super Seed Lavender or whatever the hell.
Oh, my God. The whole point of this is, do you realize that my goodness gracious, no one, did your mother slap you with very
Do your athletes, when they win a gold medal, get put on the Super Seed Lavender box?
Okay, don't choke on your microphone, Carson.
Real quick. You got 60 seconds to finish this bit. Go.
It's not a bit. There was information coming. How much do you think it costs to put a pound of stuff in the space?
But it's pretty dang expensive.
$5,000.
Holy hell. Holy hell.
$5,000 a pound. So this guy's cereal over 9 days cost about $15,000. The first thing I thought about was, can you imagine what toilet paper goes for?
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my Lord. Yeah, well, and actually, you think about it, that's about how much cereal costs in Canada anyway. And then you add the...
Well, when you add the 50% tax, you see the difference is our red Fruit Loops doesn't have red dye number 15 to kill you. They use beet juice.
Fruit Loops is the opposite. Fruit Loops is exactly what your cereal sounds like. All right, so tell us real quick where people can find your glorious work, Michael Charbon.
You can find me on Newsmax Weekly and on the CharbonReport.com, TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Spotify, Facebook, and on X at Michael A. Charbon and The Rob Carson Show.
You're a good man, Michael. We'll talk next week. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the millions of Americans that owe back taxes to the IRS. Unfortunately, they're the world's most powerful collection agency, with the ability to garnish your wages, seize your bank accounts,
I went
and
off
even
on Michael
take your home
Charbon
or
about a
business.
gay
But don't
cereal
be stressed or
at
worried
around
any longer.
12,
We're Optima
40,
Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. We have resolved over $3 billion in tax debt for our clients. Our award-winning professionals deal with the IRS every single day, protecting our clients.
Oh, sorry. I got busy. Hello, guys. I'm sorry. I got a little distracted there. Turned off WCBM, and now here I am. I had to send my producer to tell me that bit from Michael Charbon is for the. We're going to post that on social media. Hello, everybody on Facebook. Hello, Kathy Dolman. Hello, Pranay Uberjut. Hello, Vic Hare. What's going over, all you guys? Armored Dodo on YouTube. Are you a troll? I'm going to see if you're a troll, because sometimes we get some trolls over here, and I get rid of them pretty quick. So, hello, Scarecrow. Who has the lavender recipe? Well, I don't know, but stop it. Anyway, hi, DC42. So what do you think of that bit? That was kind of funny. He told me this really silly cereal bit. It's what is it called? Hold on. Somebody just DC45. It's called what? You can order it here. Strawberry-lavender Super Seed Blend is the name of the cereal. Thanks for sending the link. I'm going to talk about that. DC42. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I might have to order some of that. I'm afraid I might start painting my toenails. Here we go. It's time for me to talk.
245.
This is not an EV. And it never will be. Yeah! So somebody on the chat on Rumble, DC42, sent me some information about this super fabulous cereal in Canada. It's called Goldie's Super Seed Cereal. Strawberry-lavender super seed blend. That sounds like something you'd feed your birds. Doesn't that sound like something? Because I feed my birds, right? I feed the birds bread. Doesn't that just sound like a kind of bird seed? Okay, what do you feed your songbirds when you want to attract them to your window? Well, you do the strawberry-lavender super seed blend. No, this apparently is for humans consumption. I'm going to order some. I might order this. It's got all sorts. It's $8. It says here, $8 for a box. Chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds. Oh my goodness, buckwheat of all things. Real freeze-dried strawberries. Subtle calming lavender notes. That makes it kind of silly. Naturally crunchy texture and no refined sugar. Perfect for yogurt smoothies, oatmeal, or just when you're hanging around in your boxer shorts. Might have to order some of that and just try it. But Michael Charbon. He took it quite well. He took that quite well, didn't he? Me making fun of the cereal that their astronaut decided he wanted to take to space with him. So that's kind of fun. That's kind of fun. All right. I'm trying to figure out what I have time here for. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. You need to get a Newsmax Plus membership. How's that sound? Yeah, how's that sound? I've got some great audio next hour from Rob Finnerty. If you haven't watched Rob Finnerty at night, it is such a nice departure from what is on the other networks. Finnerty, Schmidt, Carl Higbee, Greg Kelly, Greta Van Susteren, all of them. A real stellar lineup. A lot of times you think, oh, it's Fox. Fox is the best. Fox is this and that. Rah, rah, rah. And they do some pretty good stuff over there. But I hope that you'll take the opportunity to get to know Newsmax. Carl Higbee, Rob Finnerty, Rob Schmidt, Rob Carson. Hey, the Robification of it. Just go to newsmaxplus.com, download the free app. I think you're really going to enjoy it. I listen to Newsmax when I'm in the car. I listen to Newsmax when I'm at the gym. And then I watch Newsmax at home as well on YouTube TV, etc. Newsmax is growing. Its anchors does not change. They do not change their stripes. And I think you're going to enjoy it if you don't listen or watch NewsmaxPlus.com. Download the free app. Hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit ReliefFactor.com today.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 2, as we broadcast from our very new studios here in the Newsmax building in Washington, D.C. If you've just tuned in, last weekend, I should say, moved into the building, had to tear down my studio that I had built in Alexandria, Virginia, moved into the Newsmax studios, and so we are on the fourth floor Newsmax building in the heart of Washington, D.C., and it is just something else, and I feel like it's kind of interesting because I have been literally for the last decade in a box by myself talking to you, all right, and it is kind of odd to sit in a dark room by yourself and talk to millions of people. But I could feel your presence, and so that's what makes it easier to do. Here I actually am meeting people. I was just out in the kitchen talking to one of the news anchors, and and I was telling her about how you go to Whole Foods in the morning, and they got yellow stickers everywhere, and you can get half price. I got 3 tubs of half price guacamole this morning. And I normally don't shop at Whole Foods. I don't. It's a whole paycheck. I don't pay full price. And then a nice little conversation. And then I met a priest this morning. Holy heck! Hold on. Special guest out there, delightful gentleman. Going to have him on the show. Father Benedict Kiley, the founder of Helping Persecuted Christians, and I had a delightful conversation with him out there. It's really kind of nice, rather than just having 3 dogs that I need to let out, or a wife that hates my politics in the other room. So it's kind of nice. It's delightful, and we're making some changes here. We're going to have 3 microphones, so we'll have guests in the studio, which is very exciting. And then also you're going to notice when you watch the live stream, watch right now on the live stream. You ready for this? I'm going to go to camera 2. Now, hold on a second. Got to bring that down. Hold on. But anyway, yeah, go to and then back to me. So we're going to do that, and that's to give you. Up, and then there's going to be guests over there, and I was showing these guys at Newsmax, these floor directors and whatnot, and literally the director of the newscast, and I invited him in here, and I'm showing him how I run all of it myself, all of my audio and my video, and he's like, "Holy hell, what is going on?" And it's kind of fun. So the show's growing, it's getting bigger. Since I moved to DC a little less than a year ago, we became the number 10 political commentary podcast in America, right behind Victor Davis Hanson, number 41 for news and overall podcast of all the millions of podcasts, number 250, and we're growing. And we're growing. So there you go. There you go. Oh, by the way, I want to mention something. I was invited to something, met a gentleman, and he is in the military, get about a year out from retirement. His name is Mike Borchardt, and he is from Wisconsin, and he just so happens to live in the same apartment complex. We kind of hit it off, and we've been talking, and last night he invited me to Joint Base Meyer-Henderson Hall for what's called a Twilight Tattoo event. And what they do about once a week in the summer, they get hundreds of soldiers together, and they put on a giant show celebrating our military from the colonial army through now. And they have got drill teams, and they've got this fife and drum corps, and they've got a rock band. They got a rock band. This guy, one of the guitarists in the band, started riffing on doing Eruption from Van Halen right before You Really Got Me. He's playing Eruption, Eddie Van Halen, in the middle of this. It was freaking cool. And then they fire, semi-automatic weapons with blanks. Apparently, they had to move it indoors last night. When they do it outdoors, they have cannon. But it was such a show. It was such a show, and I met dozens of young military members, many of them who are recruits who are just getting into it, dressed in the garb of World War II soldiers or colonial soldiers or Desert Storm soldiers or Civil War soldiers, Union soldiers. It was something else. I was so honored to be there. So to everyone at Joint Base Meyer, Henderson Hall. I'll tell you what, I teared up so many times during this performance. It was something to behold, and it's not going to be, it's off for the rest of the summer, so there are no more performances this summer, but I had to acknowledge what a glorious, glorious, glorious event it was. This week, the mayor of New York City, who's a spoiled and entitled punk, named Zohran Mamdani, who's a communist and an Islamist. He's an Islamist first. He said he was going to jail Bibi Netanyahu. Now, he didn't say this about any of the other despots in the world. He didn't like Maduro being taken out of Venezuela. He never says anything about Vladimir Putin, but he wants to arrest Bibi Netanyahu because he is a rabid anti-Semite and an Islamist. He's a very dangerous and very dark man who paints a silly smile on his face to disarm you. Jon Stewart, who you think would know better, who lost many friends during 9/11, and one of the most powerful monologues I ever saw was Jon Stewart after 9/11 weeks later saying it's okay to laugh again. I remember that like it was yesterday. We stopped all airline flights, the skies were quiet, and we could not smile. We could not laugh. It was so profoundly tragic. You cannot, you Gen Zers who were maybe toddlers like my son or weren't alive then, you cannot imagine. It was Pearl Harbor of my generation and of the millennial generation. It was Pearl Harbor. It was so overwhelming. There are montages of music that I hear and I weep like it was yesterday. I wept for a year after 9/11, and I never knew anyone who died in that tragedy. Many of you do, particularly here in Washington, D.C., New York City, and whatnot. But here's Jon Stewart years later. Zohran Mamdani. And Zohran Mamdani, there are a lot of things about Zohran Mamdani that say he's a very dangerous man. You've got radical imams who are still embracing him, still love him. You've got the Muslim call to prayer playing in New York. You've got at Ground Zero people shouting Allahu Akbar and rallying and terrifying Jews. And yet Jon Stewart thinks that doesn't add up to anything.
Being a Muslim Democratic Socialist, I thought it would be pretty straightforward.
You just saw like, well, what if I label myself something that scares people the most? I'm a Muslim Democratic Socialist.
If you scare them twice.
And I'd like to run your public transportation system.
That's not even funny, John. See, there's this thing called instinct. There's this thing that you protect yourself when you see things that add up and could end up in your harm, and everything about this creep does that. And for you to say, oh, you're so silly, particularly considering you lost so many friends on 9/11, and everything about this guy adds up to, holy crap, he's really dangerous, and he's probably, he's a radical Islamist. And these are the kind of thinking when you're trying to glad hand people and whatnot, or suck up to them like Jon Stewart, and then you let down your guard, and you let the vampire into the house, you let the wolf into the house, and that's what you're doing, Jon Stewart. I got to tell you, very disappointed in Jon Stewart, but it's not the first time. But he wanted to arrest Bibi Netanyahu. He whipped it out, and the Republicans cut it off, and so he discovered he has no power to arrest Bibi Netanyahu. It was absurd for this man-child to even think so. Brianna Lyman had a brilliant take on this on CNN. She's been a freaking guest on this show. She's a Gen Z conservative.
Where exactly would he send Netanyahu? Would it be to one of the jails he's trying to abolish? Right. Would he arrest him with one of the policemen he wants to defund, or would he send a social worker? Yes. And so I think his whole comment actually underscores something bigger, which is that Mamdani doesn't actually believe in abolishing all of these things. He just believes in selectively abolishing them when they benefit him, right? So,
well, that's 100%. That's the way Democrats are. That's the way the left is. They want to go after billionaires. You've got Bernie Sanders calling people like Elon Musk oligarchs, but Bernie Sanders is an oligarch. Bernie Sanders is in government and has enriched himself while in government. He is an oligarch. Hillary Clinton is an oligarch. The Obamas are oligarchs. That's just the way it is. Sid Rosenberg, I had a chance to meet him. He's a legendary broadcaster, WABC in New York City. He had he had a woman named Marley Hornick on his show. She's an investigative journalist, and she's been looking at the Mamdani election and has found some peculiarities.
Is that the New York City and the New York State boards of elections have no idea if Mamdani won the mayoral. I actually don't know whether Mamdani won the mayoral race, and I'm not here to say that he didn't. The problem we uncovered is that
listen to this.
At the New York City and the New York State boards of elections have no idea if Mamdani won the mayoral election either. Let's look at their official records.
Yes.
Did they or did they not qualify the voters? 7% of the voters in that election do not exist.
What? They don't exist.
They don't exist.
They could be dead.
No.
They're not even illegals. They just don't exist.
No, they don't exist.
What?
We also found that 6% of the voters have social security numbers that the SSA, the official government website, calls impossible and invalid. Right. So here's the issue. His margin of victory is 207,000 votes. Yeah. We found over 230,000 votes, and we have another 1.2 million voters to study.
Really?
So out of 2.2 million voters, we studied.
This is weird because out there that what's her name, ramen noodle in L.A., the mayor's race, she was behind by 35,000 votes, and then she got 40,000 votes, and it just so happens that's as many homeless people there on Skid Row in L.A.
About 1 million of them,
Weird.
And we found more votes that are apparently illegal than his margin of victory. Again, the issue is not whether or not Mamdani won. The issue is whether or not the boards of elections in New York are actually counting fair elections so that we are properly represented as we are constitutionally.
Wow, that is amazing.
Zohran Mamdani conceding what legal experts have long said, that he cannot legally arrest Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Jim Gossett here.
Mamdani's a punk. He knew he'd regret it if he tried arresting me. Grief he gets for his empty threats, cause he doesn't have authority. If the law he breaks, a chance he takes, he'd be in jeopardy. Mamdani's a punk, I just said it, no way he's arresting me.
Pretty good, Benjamin Netanyahu.
Mamdani's a creep and an anti-Semite, that's why he doesn't like me. And Israel attacking and a Hamas backing, that's his history.
Wow.
Have no respect for that insect, from his city people flee. Mamdani's a punk and he'll regret it if he tries to arrest BB.
Yeah, he is a punk. That is Jim Gossett. Go to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy, patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Help him out. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
89.9 FM in Harford County.
Here we go.
But in most places on earth, they believe that your rights come from your government and from your laws. But ours was founded on the belief that your rights come from your Creator and from God.
Come on. Caroline 11 this morning. Did you notice that Mikey Sherrill? Let's get Mikey. Yeah, he won't eat it. He hates everything. That's a Gen Z reference to a Life cereal commercial from a long time ago when we were kids. Anyway, that said, she says, why did Mikey Sherrill, why was she so prompt? I mean, normally Democrats just go, oh, there's no voter fraud and all of this. Why was she so prompt? Why did she want to put out this fire?
What I will say on New Jersey and this governor, the fact that she just all of a sudden decided to put out a press release saying President Trump and Republicans have been right about non-citizens on our voting rolls is not a coincidence. I think this governor is saying this because she realizes this administration is serious about getting to the bottom of illegal aliens voting and being on our voter rolls in our country. The Secretary of Homeland Security, as you know, sent a letter to several states, including New Jersey, requesting that non-citizens that are on their voter rolls need to be reported to DHS and need to be removed from those voter rolls. So that's why all of a sudden she is speaking truth about the fact that this does take place in states across the country. It is completely unacceptable to have non-citizens on American voter rolls voting in U.S. elections. And she says it's 6,600. We suspect it's a heck of a lot more, not just in New Jersey, but in states across the country. The president is hell-bent on getting to the bottom of this. And it's also why we need to pass the Save America Act to ensure that only U.S. citizens are voting in U.S. elections. And
now, this is very, very interesting because Mark Wade Mullen the other day said that if you don't comply with some of these new regulations for cleaning your voter rolls, etc., election officials and politicians are going to go to jail. That's what he said the other day. Mark Wayne Mullen said that the other day. Let me see if I can find it. No, I'm not going to find the clip. But that's what he said the other day. So maybe he put the fear of God in some of these Democrats. Not just New Jersey. 6 states were previously caught, including thousands of non-citizens on voter rolls. The DHS said that 190,832 non-citizens registered in California, 35,000 New Jersey, 35,000, not 6,000, 35,000 non-citizens registered, and 15,900 non-citizens Nevada, almost 15,000 in Pennsylvania. And why do people register to vote? And why do politicians register people to vote? Is it because you want to go fishing? No, it's to vote. New Jersey, one of the many states, do not use the free federal SAVE system to check for illegal aliens in their voter registrations or existing voter rolls, according to the Gateway Pundit. SAVE is an online service administered by U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services, USCIS, that provides immigration status and U.S. citizenship information. SAVE only returns verification information. The decision to register or remove a voter remains with the state or local officials, but many are not using. In fact, 24 states are not using this system. Most of them are left-leaning states. New Jersey uses this nonprofit called ERIC. And ERIC does not screen out illegals. Does not. For some time, the left has infiltrated the orbit of state motor vehicle departments so they can accomplish mass automatic voter registration of anyone regardless of citizenship. The New Jersey governor blamed the software company Demia for the non-citizen listed on their voter rolls, but Demia later blamed the Division of Elections in New Jersey for the thousands of non-citizens on its voter rolls. Demia is actually a French company, U.S. headquarters in Reston, Virginia, 1,300 employees. The Demia denial shows New Jersey has purposely overlooked the registration of illegal aliens. I don't doubt this one little bit. Not one little bit. This is Rob Smith. He is a conservative, and I played this yesterday. This is regarding signing up illegals for driver's licenses and why they do it.
All right, the next time somebody tells you that there's no such thing as election fraud, show them this.
It's done.
A packed room at the St. Paul Armory erupted after the governor's signature made driver's license for all the law of the land.
So
we give driver's licenses to anyone here. You don't have to be a citizen.
This is Minnesota. It's the state house.
And you don't have to,
yeah.
Which is a photo ID. So if someone comes in, they register, they have the driver's license, but they have an incorrect social or no social or whatever. So then they become incomplete. But if they walk in to vote with their driver's license, does that make them all of a sudden now okay?
Mr. Linnell.
Madam Chair, so the designation on the roster for someone whose registration had been incomplete, if they present the election judge with that acceptable identification document, that would clear the challenge from the roster and they would be permitted to cast a ballot.
Yeah, and in California, they don't investigate voter fraud. So the votes happen, and they're real, and they're counted, even if they're illegal. Yeah, that's the way it is. You've been caught. We've been celebrating America 250 because America is built on a strong foundation, a financial foundation built by Alexander Hamilton, later embodied by the gold standard, which we abandoned. What is the foundation of your savings? Is it gold? Is it something that can be disrupted? Is it something that can be devalued? Birch Gold has been helping Americans solidify their savings with gold the last 15 years. They'll help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA and physical gold like I did. They got my money, baby. Learn how gold fits into your portfolio by texting my name, Rob, to the number 989898, Rob, to 989898. You'll receive a free, no-obligation info kit, A-plus rating from the BBB, countless five-star reviews, including from this guy right here, me. Thank you very much. Let Birch Gold help you build your foundation in gold. Text my name, Rob, to the number 989898 for Birch Gold. Rob to 989898. The one and only KT McFarland joins us next to talk about Iran and other stuff. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's why I switched to Ghost Bed. Helps keep you cool all night, no waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. You get incredible support, less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. I got my Ghost Bed about 6 months ago, and it changed my life. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference for yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is currently having their 4th of July sale, offering my audience an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson, promo code Carson.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, two things matter most: that it works and that you can trust it. Jim ran out of Relief Factor twice. Both times his ache, stiffness, and pain came back. Once he restarted again, he says he felt better again. You know something's working when you run out of it. I started taking Relief Factor 6 months ago. I ride 30 miles on a Saturday morning on my mountain bike and lift weights every other day, and I feel great. People like Jim make it easy to find out if you'll be the next person telling us Relief Factor help you tackle your daily aches and pains. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Simply go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. They will do everything they can to help. We hope you'll be sharing your story with us too. 800-4RELIEF or ReliefFactor.com.
Today, I'm authorizing a new screening program for testosterone deficiency.
T-Lo, is your T-Lo? Will you have to quit to serve? Are you fit? Hank Seth wants to know. Army, Navy, Air Force. They need to see if you have low T, then what's the next course? Man boobs, have you got man boobs? Have you a wife? Has your sex life gone down the tubes? Bear, is your chest bare? It isn't fair, you're losing hair most everywhere. Maybe you need some TRT. It's an effective hormone therapy. Delay, servicemen don't delay. You ought to care. Shrinkage down there can ruin your day. Your day. It's late. It's getting late. It would be the best to get the test. Don't wait.
It is the Rob Carson Show. Before we introduce our special guest, KT McFarland, I wanted to set her up with this from Victor Davis Hanson about the Democratic Socialists.
It's very funny to have these young kids start mouthing off, well, we don't like the name president. We're going to get rid of that. And, you know, the Senate, that's a wealthy person. That's not fair. We're just going to get rid of that. And then we'll expand the House, and that'll be just like a radical Athenian democracy. Whatever they say is the law. And, of course, we'll get rid of the Supreme Court. We'll get rid of the president. And they have all these ideas, and you think, do you think that Hamilton and Jefferson and all these people died for you people?
Yeah.
Do you think that we went 250 years and we fought everywhere from Iwo Jima all the way to Belleau Wood to Gettysburg so that you people could just walk in, many of them from first or second generation immigration, lecturing us? Oh, I think your system is no good, and I've decided that when we take power, we're going to get rid of the Constitution, and the founders are all racist, and and we're just going to say, okay, we got your. No, that's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. No, it's not. That is, of course, I had to set you up with that, KT, because I just heard that from Victor Davis Hanson. And you know, these children, they're throwing a little temper tantrum. They're demanding a lot of things, but they're not in the position to demand a damn thing. I'd love to know your thoughts. And by the way, welcome to the show.
Well, it's great to be with you.
Yes.
You know, all I could think of when I heard that is it was by 1960. Ronald Reagan was elected governor of California.
Yeah.
And there were college students who were at Berkeley. They were protesting. They were occupying the president's office. They were making all these demands. And then Governor Reagan said, "You are a bunch of spoiled brats.
Yes.
And you are violating the law, and we are arresting you and charging you with a crime and finding you guilty. You'll be serving time." And, you know, the students were just stunned because they'd gotten away with all these college sit-ins all over the country. Yeah. Nobody had ever said anything bad to them. And then Reagan turned to the cameras and he said, "Parents of these children, You should know better. These
Yes.
are spoiled brats. And it was what propelled. So Reagan did it, stopped the college sit-ins in California. Reagan became probably the most successful governor in California history.
Yes.
And then went on to become president, one of our great presidents.
Well, I would love to know your thoughts about these this DSA candidates. You know, they went in New York, they went in Colorado, they're winning in liberal bastions. Then one of them got his rear end kicked up between his shoulders in Arizona the night before last. I don't think this stuff flies nationally. I do believe we should be concerned about them. We should put them out like a cigarette under the butt of our heel. But I don't believe that Americans will accept them and would not accept living under the edicts that they're proposing. What are your thoughts?
No, I think they're just like Reagan said, a bunch of spoiled brats.
Yes.
And their parents should know better. Here's what's happened, though, in the whole national movement of the Democratic Socialists of America. It's similar to what happened in China when the Red Guard, the students, started taking over the universities. They became a political force of their own. Mao Zedong rode them for a while, used them to get rid of his own political opponents, and then when they were no longer useful to them, he put them all in jail.
Yes.
The problem is in primary elections, and this is the primaries in the far right, the far left, is that the craziest candidates, these crazy Democrat socialists, they win a primary because in primary elections, not a lot of people turn out to vote. But the people who are the extremists in either party, those are the guys who turn out to vote. And often you will get a candidate on the far left, especially on the far left, who doesn't stand a chance in a general election.
Yeah, like the did you see the main senatorial debate last week with the transgendered man, whatever the hell, who said he had his menstrual cycle out the backside? I mean, my God in heaven, this is the best that the Democrat Party has to offer. I contend the Democrat Party cannot get a good and decent masculine man as a candidate because they're so insane, and I would venture to say also when it comes to women, someone who is sane and reasonable as well. Nobody would run for office in this party because they're so nuts.
Yeah, every now and then America just goes through these sort of temper tantrums.
Yes.
And groups of Americans. And then the general public, the average American, there's nothing average about the average American. They're quite smart. And common sense, there's nothing common about common sense. It's actually great wisdom. And so I guess I'm not as concerned as other people
I know.
About the idiocy of these spoiled brats. What I do think, though, is that the whole issue of affordability is a serious issue in the country, and that's not a Republican-Democrat issue. And President Trump understands that unless we grow the economy, we are never going to get out from under this mountain of debt, and we are never going to have economic growth. That's why almost everything he's done as president, whether it's in foreign policy, whether it's in economic policy, trade policy, tax policy, has all been to grow the American economy. If you look at American history, when we've had these outbursts of, maybe not quite as insane and obnoxious as the spoiled brats of today, but if you look at it during in the Great Depression, people really toyed seriously with communism, with socialism, because they couldn't figure out, where's the American dream? What's happened to my country? And yet, once the country then had economic growth again, that all just dissipates. Similarly, in the Carter administration, when the United States was not doing well economically, we were being pushed around all over the world, people were toying with that whole notion of socialism. And I'm not talking about the crazy people. I'm just talking about the far left, toying with communism, socialism. And then once we had the Reagan economic boom, those people just faded into the woodwork. So I'm looking for the Reagan-Trump economic boom, and then that's at the point at which we'll separate the people who are sort of flirting with socialism because of the affordability issue, separate them out from the spoiled brat crazies.
Well, they're not exactly standing in soup lines. I mean, the worst thing, they're having to drop a streaming service. Oh my God! Oh, the horror! For God's sake, I mean, serious, really. I mean, how bad off do you have it as you have your Uber Eats order delivered to your freaking door? You know, this is about spoiled academics who have worthless degrees. The university system has been allowed to, put kids in debt $200,000 with a degree that will not pay anything at all, and these kids are getting gotten out, and they're lost, and they're lost. And they've been sold a bill of goods, and they've been indoctrinated with Marxism, and this is all by design. And I believe that the DSA, this movement, is the smelling salts for the people in the Democrat Party, not the leadership, for the rank-and-file Democrats to come out of this nonsense that they've been living under for the last decade. I really do think this could wake up those people and cleave the DSA and these other crazies from the party. Your thoughts?
Well, I think that you're going to see a lot of people who are the, quote, mainstream Democrats supporting Republicans.
Yeah.
And if it weren't for the Trump derangement syndrome that seems to seize so many Democrats, you'd probably have a whole lot more Democrats who are defecting to the Republican Party, the same way we did in the 1980s of people who defected to Reagan. The working class Democrats became Reagan Republicans.
I think we're going that direction. It's a much tougher road to hoe. I want to cover Iran on the other side of the break, KT. If you can hold on, I would greatly appreciate it. It's such a pleasure to have you back on the air again. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
He's made it clear that he will consider and pursue any and every option necessary to achieve America's objective of ending the Iranian nuclear threat once and for all. How for 47 years this regime operated with bloody impunity. They murdered Americans, they tortured dissidents, they engaged in proxy terrorism across the region, across the globe, And of course, they're responsible for the roadside bombs that left so many of our bravest mortally wounded and terribly disfigured. Everyone wanted to push this problem aside. And of course, Obama, worst of all, funded, empowered, enabled, and led to the rise of the Iranian regime as a hegemony.
Yeah. And for all of our adult lives, KT McFarland, my adult life, we have hoped and prayed for the freedom for the Iranian people, the Persian people. And I'm wondering if we're getting close to it. It looks like we're finally doing what I said had to happen, and that is wiping out the IRGC and the military-industrial complex completely. What are your thoughts?
Iran is now seemingly split, not in a civil war, but in a power struggle within it. On one hand are the civilian leaders, the Speaker of the Parliament, the President, the guys that we're negotiating with. They want a deal. They know they need a deal because they know they can't survive. They can't survive economically. And there are people who look at 91 million Iranians and say, we don't want to be martyrs. We don't want our country to just be completely destroyed. We realize we have to rebuild at the end once this war is over. On the other hand are the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guard. Who are these guys? These are the guys who want to be martyrs. They want no deal with anybody, anytime. They will not settle for anything. They want America destroyed, everybody killed, every Christian, every Jew, everybody, Israel destroyed, the United States destroyed, and you just can't stop them. And that's the IRGC. I would have hoped by this time that with the elimination of the first tier and the second tier and the third tier of the IRGC leadership, we would have found maybe on the fifth tier there would be somebody who would make a deal with us, and so far not. And I think President Trump just keeps going.
We've got to wipe them out. That's all there is to it. We can't leave a seed to grow. The Democrat Party is doing its level best to use the War Powers Act, et cetera. You know, if you saw the grilling of Pete Hegseth on Capitol Hill, they're not interested in freedom for the Iranian people. They don't want it to happen under Donald Trump's watch. And I think that is absolutely sickening when you consider the prospect of what it would be like for the Iranian people to be free, for a generation of Iranian women to live in equality, etc. Some other things happened this week that were kind of big. The president of Iraq and Lebanon came to the White House. Big oil companies are investing in Iraq. I think we have the possibility of a millennial peace we could have only dreamed of happening in the Middle East. How about you?
I don't think President Trump set out to do this with the Iran war. He hoped that the Iranian leadership would do a deal like they did in Venezuela, get rid of their nukes, we could work with them, everything would be great. But they won't do a deal, or the IRGC won't do a deal. So I think President Trump now is in, so that's the bad news.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good news, and the good news is, like you said, the Iraqi leader, the Lebanese leader came to talk to Donald Trump about an alliance. Today, the president announced that Saudi Arabia, we were going to do a nuclear energy deal with Saudi Arabia, and that as a condition of that deal, Saudi Arabia would join the Abraham Accords. So the big takeaway from Iran is that the entire Middle East is being reconfigured so that the Gulf Arabs in peace with Israel, with the United States. They're going to trade together. They're going to work together. And Iran is the one that's now been completely surrounded and left out.
It's really remarkable that they are seeing the possibility of capitalism, free market capitalism, enriching their people and making paradise happen during your life rather than after your life, after you've martyred yourself. I want to talk a little bit about Zohran Mamdani and his threat to arrest. I mean, it's like Barney Fife saying, "I'm going to arrest Bibi Netanyahu." What are your thoughts on his face plant because of this?
You know, part of me, Rob, said, oh, gosh, Mayor Z, just give it a shot.
Yes,
go for it.
yes.
See if you can arrest Bibi. You'll see how quickly Israeli intelligence deals with the cops that you don't want to pay and don't like and don't believe.
Yes.
But the other part of me says, no, that this is just Mamdani, pandering. He knows he can't do anything to Bibi Netanyahu legally. He can't do anything practically. No. There's nothing he can do. But he wants to jump up and down and scream about Bibi Netanyahu as a terrible person and genocide and war crimes. And all that does is Mamdani just plays to his base. By the way, he's not expanding his base. No. He's just pandering to his base.
Well, I said that he is Islamist first. And the reason why there are these radical imams in New York City still embracing him and loving him rather than saying, this guy is down with the LGBTQ, it is because he's using the left like useful idiots. And he doesn't believe any of it. He's not a socialist first. He's not a pro-LGBTQIA plus. He's just doing exactly what they did during the Iranian Revolution and other, revolutions like this, red-green revolutions in the past. And I'm hoping, and I believe he's going to fail. What do you think?
Well, for sure he's going to fail. Okay. He's even failing on the promises that he made to his own community, where he said, free groceries, free child care, free this, free that. None of that stuff is happening.
No.
And I think the whole I'm going to assassinate or arrest or somehow torture Bibi Netanyahu is a distraction from the fact that Mamdani has not delivered on all the things he said he was going to deliver on. Yeah. And then if you look at where New York goes, I mean, I'm a New Yorker. Yeah. And I look at all the people who are fleeing New York, wealthy people who are fleeing, middle-class people who are fleeing New York City. It's going to be a pretty grim place.
Yeah, it is.
Several years from now when the New York City can't afford to pay the cops or pick up the garbage.
Absolutely. KT McFarland, it was such a pleasure having you on. By the way, your first appearance with me in my new studio in the Newsmax building in Washington, D.C. And when this, when you're next time you're in town, maybe around Christmas time, I would love to have you read The Night Before Christmas in person in my studio in Washington, D.C. Would you be amenable to that?
Oh, I think that sounds like a terrific idea.
I'll have a wingback chair brought in, and we'll put a fireplace background for it, okay?
Perfect. And to all, good night.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I appreciate you so much. Have a glorious rest of your week.
Thank you. You too.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. She is just so cool. She's so cool. She's the best. How are you guys? Hello, Robert Lawson. Hello, Dale Arsenal. Hello, Linda Andrew. You guys having a good time? Maria Luisa speaking in Spanish. We don't speak Spanish here, so don't know exactly what you want to say speaking in Spanish, but, we kind of like to do the English thing. We like to do the English. Let's go over here. It looks like we got a guy named Ed over here on YouTube. I'm gonna block him. I'm gonna get rid of old Ed. Block. Bye, Ed. You're no longer interesting to us. Yeah, the bigger the show gets, the more trolly people are gonna be. Let's see, GJ Garrett, what's going on? Good to see you, Scarecrow. Good to see you, Earn Man 2 Dookie Bear. Tom K, how's things, man? How's things? Hope you're enjoying the show. Anyway, KT is a terrific guest, and she's a friend of the show. For those of you who don't know, a couple of years ago, I had her read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" on the radio program because I love her voice so much, and so I had her read it, and I met her not there soon thereafter. And she said that she plays the recording for her grandchildren because they loved it so much. So there you go. Kind of cool. Oh, this is good. All right, I got to talk. Hold on. Time for me to talk. Sorry, guys. Good to see you. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, about 3:20 here.
Diggy. Come on! Wait for the kick. Here it is. Come on. Yeah, the bumper music is all mine, baby. All mine. That is a man called Dr. Funk. That's some of the best slap bass I've ever heard. Thanks to KT McFarland for being on the show. She's amazing. I referenced her reading The Night Before Christmas. Years ago, I had her read The Night Before Christmas on my radio program because she has such a marvelous voice. And I told her that. And she read it on my show. And ever since, she's been playing it every year at Christmas for her grandchildren. We're going to have her read it here in studio. Iran will pay for any Houthi-led attacks, Trump says. Tehran-backed militants claim strikes against 2 Saudi-linked ships, so the Houthis are getting involved here. Trump vowed major military punishment against Iran and its Houthi allies in a Truth Social post. He said, starting up again, shooting at 2 Saudi Arabian ships last night. This is going to end very badly for them. Jim Gossett came up with this about the Houthis on the Rob Carson Show.
Houthis, goodbye.
Boom.
Houthis, you'll die.
Don't bleep with Trump.
Your killing days are over.
Dooba-doo-bow.
You're gonna need more than a 4-leaf clover. Houthis, you're through.
Or a rabbit's foot. One of those.
No one feels bad for you.
Man, those were weird, weren't they? They were weird.
Wiping you out, ending all doubt. If you're destroyed, I doubt that anybody would pout.
Pew, pew, pew.
Houthis, goodbye.
Kick some booty today.
And I'm sure you know why.
Don't mess with Trump.
Trump's bombing you. What will you do? Ending your reign of terror is overdue. Houthis, they're on the run.
Dooby-dooby-doo-do-do-do.
Houthis are done.
That is Jim Gossett. Oh, my gosh. Jim Gossett, by the way, patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy, patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. Just a brilliant man. I worked with, Rush, for many years. And I worked with Paul Shanklin. And nothing against Paul. Jim Gossett is just a bloody genius. He really is. We're so grateful. And that's one of the things that makes our show different, is we embrace comedy. By the way, you should embrace Newsmax Plus. You should get it because you can watch Greta Von Susteren, Carl Higbee, Rob Schmidt, Rob Finnerty, more Rob Carson. Yeah, when the Robs are taking over. Go to newsmaxplus.com for immediate access. Download the app. Newsmax anchors don't change their stripes on election night like some other anchors do. Or other anchors change their stripes on Israel, etc. Rock solid. NewsmaxPlus.com. Download the Newsmax app. Hour number 3 of the Rob Carson Show. Oh, it's only going to get better. Brigitte Gabriel's coming up. Don't go anywhere.
don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
Hold it now. You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is hour number 3 of the Rob Carson Show on radio stations around the country, also streaming live on all Newsmax social media. And then also the podcast. The podcast every single day. We take the show and we make it into podcast, 3 bite-sized hours of the podcast. We get rid of the commercial content, and you can listen to it. It's becoming wildly popular for those who just want to listen to an hour or in that case like 40 minutes, whatever. Anyway, it's becoming very, very popular. A lot of people are checking it out, and if you get a chance to follow me on social media too, my social media pages are at Rob Carson Show. And I put up all sorts of stuff up there, everything from, like last night I went live from this wonderful event that I was invited to, and I went live on Instagram. Let me find it here. It was called the VIP Twilight Tattoo at Joint Base Meyer Henderson Hall. And it was something else. And I went live for about 45 minutes on my Instagram at Rob Carson Show, showing that. And it was, oh my gosh, it was just such a show. Soldiers putting on a show in the garb of all of the soldiers of our history. It was something else. Musical extravaganza, the drum and fife corps, the military band. What else? I mean, precision marching and all of this drill squads. It was something else. I was very blessed to be there. Very blessed to be a part of it. So a lot of people are very concerned about the Democratic Socialists of America. I was just talking to Katie McFarland last hour. You can check it on the podcast. She's not as concerned, but we should be. We should, because we have to be battle ready for anything. But this is Stephen Turley. Dr. Stephen Turley, somebody who I really enjoy on social media, on YouTube, his channel as well, talking about the midterms and polling right now.
With roughly 105 days to go before the election, the Cook Political Report now has the Republicans at a solid 212 seats, with the Democrats at just 205 with 18 toss-ups.
By the way, the Democrats are leading with registered voters by 3 percentage points, which means we're already ahead. And the reason being is Democrats always poll way out ahead of Republicans before any election, because the pollsters and the leftist media use the polls to suppress the vote.
Now, when you compare that to this time in 2018, when the Democrats went on to win 40 seats, the Democrats were up with 210 seats, and the Republicans were at just 195 seats with 39 toss-ups. So that's effectively been inverted. According to Cook, the GOP would only need to win 6 of the 18 toss-ups, which, of course, would help target that billion-dollar war chest the GOP is sitting on right now. And
again, the Democrat Party is not running on anything. They are running on empty. Hey, there you go, little Jackson Brown for you. But they're running on nothing. They're running on nothing but hate Trump. That's it. And you can't just live in darkness forever. You can't just live in darkness. And now that the Democrat Socialists of America have moved in, darker days ahead for the Democrat Party. And like I said, I told you that 80% of us believe the country is headed the wrong direction. 80% of us can come together to save her. And I really do believe this is an opportunity for common sense Democrats to go, enough is enough. We love our country. I know it's hard to imagine there are that many of you when you consider the vocal mouthpieces of your party and the leaders of your party. But I believe there are some of you out there, and I think we can still agree to disagree. But we cannot agree on communists running the country. That's all there is to it. Here's Newt Gingrich talking about the midterms.
If I were betting tonight, they'll keep both, and they'll increase their margins. Look,
which is what I've been saying now for about a year.
Country in the end. You had somebody the other day in New York who won a primary who said, I never pick up a napkin. I just wipe my hands on the American flag.
Yeah. That was, by the way, that was this Chevalier chick from, I call her a chick. You know why I do that? It's to mock her. case you wanted to know, it's nothing sexist. I'm just doing it to mock her. New York Democrat Chevalier, Democrat Socialist Avila Chardonnay scored a stunning primary upset over longtime Representative Adriano Espaillat or whatever in New York. Now, apparently, she did a 2-month internship in 2014 in one of her 12 years that she's been in college. Yeah, 12 years at it's called An-Najah National University in the West Bank, where she taught professional competency courses. Oh my God, that's hilarious! Through the Virginia-based Tomorrow's Youth Program, according to the Washington Examiner, international watchdogs and terrorism researchers have long identified Al-Najah as a center for Hamas recruitment and radicalization. Hamas has previously described the university as a greenhouse for martyrs, while researchers have documented the school's ties to the terrorist group's Islamic Bloc student organization. Duh! The Examiner reported that during Avila Chardonnay's internship, students celebrated graduation with large Hamas flags and banners. Graduates also displayed a hand gesture associated with Hamas after the kidnapping of 3 Israeli teenagers who were murdered. The report also noted that An-Najah has faced repeated scrutiny over the years after students had faculty members were arrested on terrorism-related charges. Yeah, I mean, what else do you need? Really? What else do you need? Controversial campus exhibit honoring a deadly Hamas suicide bombing was ultimately shut down after an intervention from then Palestinian Authority President Yasser Arafat. Neither Avila Chardonnay's campaign nor An-Najah National University responded for requests for comment. Avila Chardonnay described the trip to this university as a defining moment in her political development. It was really informative, she said there. And Avila Chardonnay co-founded Columbia University Apartheid Divest and activist organization, later participated in the 2024 anti-Israel encampment protests at Columbia University. The group declared it sought the total eradication of Western civilization. Chardonnay later deleted social media posts endorsing the abolition of police and prisons, mocking the American flag. Although she recently said Hamas was wrong to target civilians October the 7th, bull crap. Archive posts showed she had previously compared the U.S. to Hamas. Avila Chardonnay defeated, blah, 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 anyway. She's a friggin' radical Marxist Islamist. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Back to Newt Gingrich on the midterms.
To guess what percent of the country thinks you should wipe your hands on the American flag?
Yeah,
I mean,
that's Avila Chardonnay.
These people are crazy. We keep dealing with them as though they were serious people. They're crazy people who happen to be at an intersection in history where with 5%, 7%, 9% of the vote, they got to be the nominee, while the rest of everybody sat in their hands and thought, this is so stupid, I don't even want to be involved.
I know.
We have Republicans, if they do it right, have a chance this fall to win one of the greatest victories in American history and to begin to rival Thomas Jefferson in defining their opponents as so clearly anti-American that they have no space in the American political system.
100%, and this is why Donald Trump said this yesterday in a brilliant speech in Georgia.
America is back. It's stronger than ever before, and I'm telling you, it's only going one way. It's going up. As long as we keep our current thinking, our current system, it's going up. If you go the other way, nothing ever succeeds. I made the statement once, with communism, everything turns to shit. Okay.
There you go. 100%. We are at war with communism. Here is Newt Gingrich, and you know, I told you about this movement, and I said the summer of 2020 was about children and a temper tantrum, and I call them candy aisle kids. The Gen Z is raised where in the grocery store, this is a metaphor, that there are certain aisles they don't have candy, and parents see the little sign that says no candy aisle, and they will steer the cart into that aisle if they have their kids in one of those giant carts that has seating for 4 and safety belts in it, like steering a tanker into the Panama Canal. And they do that because there are parents who can't parent and can't say no. So you don't see the candy, you won't see the tantrum, and the parents, the soy boy latte drinking parents of now, if their kid throws a tantrum, they can't handle it. And so they'll capitulate to the demands of the children. Whereas when we were growing up, if you demanded candy from your parents and your mom said no and you threw a tantrum, you got your rear end kicked when you got to the car. That's it. That's why I call them candy owl kids. And this is what Newt Gingrich is essentially saying about Zohran Mamdani and his ilk.
Oh, no, look, Mamdani is the ultimate sort of temper tantrum by a juvenile. Nothing he says is real. Nothing that he's doing is real.
No.
His idea about he's not in touch with the planet.
No.
He says we'll give you free bus rides. That's not true.
Not happening.
What he's saying to you is we're going to steal from somebody else to pay for your bus ride.
Yeah.
He says he's going to arrest Netanyahu. He knows he can't arrest Netanyahu.
No, not at all.
He knows it's a lie.
It's stupid.
That won't happen under American law. But he is New York City. He is the darling of the left, and therefore he's going to have
his star is fading.
A huge impact.
It's fading fast.
On defining the Democratic Party, which I have to say, and I agree with President Trump on this, I mean, if we end up in an election this fall between a communist Democratic Party and the rest of the country, it could be one of the most historic collapses in American political history.
I agree completely. I told you the Democrat Party was descending into hell. How many times I need to say that? I told you to do a death spiral into hell. I don't know how I do this. I don't know how I am able to get this stuff right. I know that I've been on the planet for a while. I've seen a lot of things. I've got a lot of great life experience. I got a lot of great common sense. I don't know. But I'm able to see this stuff. I'm able to see this stuff. And here's Newt Gingrich talking about the leaders of the Democrat Party like Hakeem Jeffries. They're cooked.
Well, I mean, no, they're not going to last. Schumer is sort of the last stand of the 1970s. Hakeem is a guy, if you watched him, I actually stayed up. Calista and I were nuts. We stayed up and we watched his elaborate 4.5 or 5 hour speech. This was a moment of insanity. I mean, this was a high school class president pretending to be a national figure.
Yeah.
And look where they are. They are the heart of the left-wing rebellion in their state.
Wow. Ground zero. We'll see.
Yeah, there you go. By the way, I've got some unbelievable comments from grumpy old man James Carville about the Democrat Party. Oh, my God. You're going to want to stick around for this. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Deported. Deported. Deported.
Get them out. Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Deported. Deported. Deported.
Get them out. Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here. Get them out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Radio 680 WCBM and 99.9 FM in Harford County.
One thing I would like to see updated is the word homeless to the word unhoused.
How about new?
So, you want to hear some good news? Jack Smith is being hit with criminal referral as the GOP moves testimony fight toward prosecution. Jim Jordan, I should say former Biden special counsel Jack Smith, could face potential criminal prosecution after Republicans accuse the ex-prosecutor of misleading Congress about the scope of his investigation into Trump. Jim Jordan, House Judiciary Committee chairman, issued a criminal referral for Smith Wednesday, arguing newly released records contradict Smith's testimony to his committee that he did not obtain or review lawmakers' text messages. And he did. He did them in mass. He did them in mass, like 44 members of Congress, and then, of course, a whole lot of you and me. Here is a little bit of Josh Hawley talking about Jack Smith and what he did and how he abused his power.
Here is a record. I'm going to read it to you. A record of Jack Smith's responses under oath now to members of Congress. He is asked, question, as it relates to members and their staffs and senators, it's just the toll records as far as you remember. Smith, that is my recollection. Question, did the records that you requested include the content of text messages? Smith, answer, no.
He was lying. Here's what he actually did.
Well, we know that he read my text messages. Yes, absolutely, Sean. He also tracked my phone. He tracked my whereabouts, my location, monitored my incoming calls and my outgoing calls. What did he do with the text messages? We don't know that yet. What we do know is he absolutely read them. He absolutely shared them with members of his team, and all of that illegally. The Justice
It was a fishing expedition. Show me the man, I'll show you the crime.
Department requires...
They did that when they raided Mar-a-Lago.
That there be screening for any members of Congress in their text messages. Jack Smith said under oath, as you just played, that he didn't seek the text messages of members of Congress, but in fact, we know that he did. So he lied. He violated the law. He violated the Constitution. This guy ought to be prosecuted.
Oh, it'd be so fun. I can't wait. I can't wait till he's prosecuted and convicted and spend some time in jail. Wouldn't it be awesome? Something to hope for. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. I promised you some James Carville, and here he is, grumpy old man. Get off my lawn, kids. He is quite upset about these less, he's getting very profane and awful about Donald Trump. I hate Donald Trump. He's a F you and all that crap. Now he's a little bit more concerned about these young whippersnappers. They're whippersnappers, for goodness sake, in his party.
House candidate who served in a battleground district in Michigan. I'm going to read something to you, and I'm going to tell you why this is typical. A progressive House candidate who served in a battleground district in Michigan as law and Democratic Party officials once said black black U.S. political leaders are a pillar of the capitalist and imperialist American establishment. Yeah, Jim Clyburn is part of that. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly who Martin Luther King was. Yeah, you're right. That's who John Lewis was. And these people are paternalistic, and it's a bunch of overeducated little white turds.
I gotta hear that again.
People are paternalistic, and it's a bunch of overeducated little white turds who think they know more than other people know.
I know.
And they know what's wrong. And they're going to go and then you got, they're talking about indicting Netanyahu.
Yeah, I know.
And that the problem is you have a candidate, a DSA candidate in New York saying we should be against interracial dating.
Yeah, I know.
Let me tell you something.
You know what?
These people, and these are to all my black friends and people like me, they think they know more than you do.
No, they don't.
They think their history is more glorious than yours. They think that Lenin was a more glorious human being than Martin Luther King or Frederick Douglass.
They do.
That's what they really think.
Yeah, they do.
And if you know that, you don't know your history.
Yep.
And you should view these people with extreme skepticism, because they think they know what's better for you than you know what's better for you, and they think they know your history better than you know their history.
I told you, Democrat Party, dying like movie vampires.
Oh, it is mine.
I know. And James Carville. That is fantastic. Speaking of African Americans, I'll just say black women, April Chapman is fantastic. I've been following April Chapman on the social media. She is just phenomenal. She was on Newsmax talking about how the DSA is going to implode.
It is a joy to see the left demolish and eat itself.
I know.
At the end of the day, if you examine the policies of the Democratic Socialists of America, none of the policies are geared toward lifting up any group.
No.
It's about everybody being at the bottom.
Yes.
So I would ask, on what basis is he saying that the Democratic Socialists of America are racist? Is it because there's no particular policy specific for black people or specific for women? They keep forgetting that socialism is about the warmth of collectivism.
Oh, yes.
You don't get to be special in the Democratic Socialist framework.
No.
And so the whole entire movement is going to implode on itself. And I'd be interested to see where this conversation leads. I'm just enjoying it from the sidelines.
Oh, so am I. So am I. Absolutely. By the way, we wouldn't be celebrating 250 years if it weren't for a strong foundation. Hamilton built our financial foundation. It's been very good until we abandoned the gold standard in 1971. The dollar is worth a lot less. You know what I'm talking about. What's the foundation of your savings? If it's gold, then you're cool. If it's not, maybe you need to, invest some money in Birch Gold like I did, IRA or 401k, in a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. Learn how gold fits into your portfolio by texting my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898. You'll receive free, no obligation information, A+ rating, BBB. I've been talking about this forever. Why haven't you texted my name? Do it right now. Text Rob to 989898. Let Birch Gold help build your foundation with gold. I love gold. Text Rob to 989898. Brigitte Gabriel joins us next. Act4America.org. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. When it comes to supplements, two things matter most: that it works and that you can trust it. Jim ran out of Relief Factor twice. Both times his ache, stiffness, and pain came back. Once he restarted again, he says he felt better again. You know something's working when you run out of it. I started taking Relief Factor 6 months ago. I ride 30 miles on a Saturday morning on my mountain bike and lift weights every other day, and I feel great. People like Jim make it easy to find out if you'll be the next person telling us Relief Factor help you tackle your daily aches and pains. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Simply go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. They will do everything they can to help. We hope you'll be sharing your story with us, too. 800-4RELIEF or relieffactor.com.
When let us sit aside, cause it's quite an attack, cyclist parade. When raspberries you eat keeps you on the throne seat, cyclist parade. Stomach churns and you'll feel some burns as the parasite starts to infect you. To the drugstore you go, pick up some Pepto that you know won't protect you or affect you. Taco that you consumed, it was safe, you assumed, cyclosporate. The feeling you get that you'd like to forget you're in pain. When it's clear you are one suffering senorita. Excuse me, can't you see no more salads for me, cyclosporate? Cyclosporate.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Ghost Bed. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's why I switched to Ghost Bed. Helps keep you cool all night, no waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. You get incredible support, less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. I got my Ghost Bed about 6 months ago, and it changed my life. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference for yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is currently having their 4th of July sale, offering my audience an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. That's ghostbed.com/Carson, promo code Carson.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Missiles left, which they have now, and about 150 to 175 launchers. And now they're going through them. That's, so we have destroyed 75% of their military capability, and we just needed to finish the job. The unfortunate thing that we did is we went into a ceasefire too early. And you know what? This is the same thing that happened to Israel with Gaza, with Hamas, and this is exactly what we did with Iran. We should not have gone with the ceasefire, but the Arabic states were putting pressure on President Trump, saying, look, look, they're going to attack us. Let's give them peace a chance. Let's hit the pause button. Let's have a ceasefire. And that's what you end up with. I believe right now we're ramping up the operation and we're going to continue fighting them. President Trump now knows that negotiations is a wasted time with the Iranians, and he will finish the job.
You know, there's only one way to make an appearance by Brigitte Gabriel better on the Rob Carson Show, and that is to introduce Brigitte Gabriel with Brigitte Gabriel. Oh, my goodness. Brigitte Gabriel, how you doing today?
Thank you, my friend. I'm doing great. I'm delighted to be back with you.
I loved what you said there, girl. I saw that the other night. I'm not sure. I think you were on Newsmax, and you are spot on. And you know that I think that ceasefire was premature as well, and it looks like you were exactly right.
Yeah, Hamas is rebuilding. It empowered them. Right now with Iran, we gave Iran a breather, and now we're ramping up operation. But the good news is President Trump can tell the world we gave diplomacy a chance.
Yes.
We signed the memo of understanding, and we gave them 60 days to work it out. They didn't abide by it. They didn't listen. They were belligerent. We tried and tried and tried, and they broke the agreement again and again and again, or the memorandum of understanding. And now they left us no option. It's not our fault we're attacking them. They made us do it. And I think the world needed to see this because, you know, for those who are screaming, America is war hungry, America wants to take over the oil in the Middle East, America is invading nations because it's a colonialist power, this shuts them up. All those who are screaming that President Trump and the Republican Party are pro-war and it's Israel that's driving the agenda and they want to go to war with the Iranians, well, Iran just proved that we gave peace a chance. They didn't want to abide by it, and here we are again.
I did not. I failed to mention you are with actforamerica.org. Actforamerica.org is an organization you need to get involved in. You need to sign up. Seriously, you need to do it. But I remember a couple weeks ago, you and my friend Matthew Faraci, you were freaked out about this memorandum of understanding, and I was too a little bit. And I said, you gotta, you know, we have given Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt for a very long time, and has he ever let us down? And I think now we kind of understand. Do you feel better about that and the you know the stress that you had about that memorandum of understanding now that Donald Trump has been bombing the snot out of them for 12 days?
Well, I'm glad we went back to bombing. I do feel better because I do believe we need to finish the job.
Yes.
As a terrorism analyst who have followed Iran for years, and look, my dealing with Iran started when I was a survivor of war in Lebanon, which now is the country that Iran destroyed. With Hezbollah, they set up a proxy army. They made that a base. So I understand, and I have followed Iran since 1979. So for me, this is nothing new, like it is for most Americans who are never really paid attention to the Middle East. You know, it's always a pain in the neck over there. These people are killing each other over there. Mm-hmm. Most Americans never really paid attention to the Middle East until 9/11, 2001. And even since then, you know, they started forgetting about it the longer we moved away from 9/11, 2001. But what we are realizing is that the world is getting smaller. And what's over there is no longer over there because of how cheap air travel is, and because people are able to travel all over the world, and because of Instagram, and because of social media. People are able, because of the migration all throughout the world. People are now paying attention to the Middle East. So I'm glad that we are back to bomb the daylight out of Iran. We need to topple that regime down. We don't have to do it personally, but we can at least help the Iranian people to do that. But I'm glad we are stripping Iran of its military power and certainly taking away from them any hope that they have to build a nuclear reactor or have nuclear weapons. We cannot allow them to have that. And I'm glad we are where we are today.
I want you to hear what Jesse Waters had to say about working with Israel to finish off Iran.
The option on the president's desk right now is an all-out war. That would include pickaxe. Sources say Israel would come in to help deliver the final blow. The Israelis are already on high alert and preparing to go full scale. F-16s and F-35s are moving into theater, and refueling planes are being pre-positioned. The Iranians say they still want to negotiate, but talks are off. The United States says they're not coming back into the table until the Iranians show they're serious.
Iran's been given every opportunity to negotiate, to show that they're reasonable on the Strait of Hormuz. But if they're going to shoot at commercial shipping, then we're going to hit them, as the president said, 10 times harder, which every night we're degrading them further and further. And the president has all the options necessary. If they want to talk, they can talk. Otherwise, they can deal with the War Department.
I don't think they're going to talk. I think the time for negotiating is way behind us, Brigitte Gabriel.
Well, here's what we're dealing with Iran. We're dealing with two different people. They are the IRGC,
yes,
who are running the country right now, who do not want to negotiate. But then there are the other group of Iranian leaders who do want to negotiate, and they are the ones who have been doing the talking with us, in Pakistan, but they don't have the power to enforce whatever's
yes,
happening on the ground at the theater of war, because the IRGC is running the country, and the IRGC is the one who propped up Mustafa Khomeini and put him in power, even though we do not know where he is right now. Some news say he is out of the country getting treatment, etc.
Yeah.
But we know that the Iranian government is so fractured on the inside that there are two elements fighting within the country.
Yes.
An element that knows that the country is dying and they are fighting for their survival, and the other element, which is the IRGC, who say, we're going to fight until every last Iranian is dead. And
Yeah.
that includes over 90 million Iranians. We don't care if 90 million die.
Wow.
That's what we're looking at in Iran.
But what about Israel? Israel, it's right in their backyard. What about Israel Special Forces? What about Israel intelligence helping to finish the job? I would imagine they would be very effective.
They are on the ground right now inside Iran, as well as the CIA. We know that, look, the intelligence that we are getting out of Iran, that's all the Israeli brilliancy, what I call, because this is the one thing that puts Israel aside from any other country in the world, and that is their human intelligence.
Yes.
They understand that the only way to gather intelligence and be able to be effective in your operations is not through satellite in the sky. Satellite can only give you too much.
Yes.
You have to be on the ground. And the Hezbollah pager operation in Lebanon proved just how important intelligence on the ground is.
Absolutely.
And the same thing with Iran. So they are working with the CIA. They are on the ground inside Iran right now. And they are working to empower or to help the Iranian leaders on the inside from the resistance to be able to rise up and take over the government. Israel knows that we've got to change. Israel wants to change the regime.
Yes.
Maybe America does not want to change the regime. They're talking about, we just want to protect the oil interest and oil global production worldwide. But Israel wants to take out the regime.
And that's all that matters. And if somebody's got to do that, if we're not going to do it, somebody has to do it. That regime does have, and by God, every seed of the IRGC needs to be destroyed. I want to take a break and come back with more with Brigitte Gabriel. Again, go to actforamerica.org, actforamerica.org. Let's take a break and come back. You're listening to The Rob Carson Show. It is a Rob Carson show. Brigitte Gabriel, actforamerica.org. We're talking about Iran, what needs to come next. I thought it was very interesting that the president of Iraq and Lebanon came to Washington, D.C. They're talking about massive investment in oil infrastructure in places like Iraq. So it sounds like the Middle East is moving away from paradise after death and after martyrdom to actually maybe enjoying it here on Earth. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think it is amazing the strategy that President Trump implemented in the Middle East. He isolated Iran from Syria, from Lebanon, from Iraq.
Yes.
I mean, remember, Iran wanted to establish hegemony across the Middle East. And this is how they used to get weapons to Hezbollah in Lebanon through Syria. That was their conduit.
Yep.
Iraq as well, where you have Shiite concentration. Iran was working with the Shiite to resist the Sunni groups in Iraq. So, and they had a major operation in there as well. So what we are seeing is President Trump is reaching out and empowering or installing new leaders, like in the case of Syria. Leaders who are already in Lebanon and in Iraq and saying, okay, you're going to work with the United States, and we're going to help you defeat the Iranian encroachment into your society, because Iran has embedded its tentacles in both societies, Syria, Lebanon, and Iraq, but no longer. Right now, Syria is completely under the control of Julani, which we installed by our CIA to the shock of all of us. We didn't understand it at the time, but that was the deal that we did. We wanted to take control of Syria and cut off Iran, and that cut off the weapons to Hezbollah in Lebanon. Right now, we are working with the president of Lebanon to empower the Lebanese army to basically fight Hezbollah and get Iran out of Lebanon. So you're seeing the of the Middle East, and you're seeing a really great possibility of countries like Syria and Lebanon joining the Abraham Accord.
We haven't heard much from Gaza lately, have we?
No, we have not. It's been off the radar. You know, the American public, the news cycle is occupied with the news shiny ball.
Yes.
The Hamas threat is not gone.
No.
Hamas is back rebuilding again because we stopped 2 weeks short of finishing the job.
Yeah.
We forced Israel to stop 2 weeks short before finishing the job. So Hamas is claiming victory. Hamas is saying, look, we won. We were able to withstand the bombardment from Israel and the United States for 2 years, and now they gave up, and we are still here. And so they are tightening their grip on the Strip, but it still poses a threat to Israel.
You mentioned Lebanon and Hezbollah, and Iran was so important to that web of terror around the world, including with Hamas. And now it sounds like the Lebanese military is going after Hezbollah. Would you say that Hezbollah's days are very, very, very numbered?
It's going to be very hard and a long fight.
Yes.
The Lebanese army, 30% of the Lebanese army is in the pocket of Hezbollah. The current leader of the Lebanese army right now is on the pocket of Hezbollah and a Hezbollah sympathizer. So there's a big challenges in Lebanon. So yes, we are trying to arm and strengthen the Lebanese army. And I think the United States agreed to arm and train a special elite group within the Lebanese army and vet them to be able to fight Hezbollah.
Yeah.
I think down the road, maybe years down the road, they will be able to do that, but it's not going to be an easy fight because they've got the spies within the army itself working against the army to support Hezbollah.
I loved Zohran Mamdani having to admit he is powerless to arrest Bibi Netanyahu. I would say he should be ashamed, but he has none. What are your thoughts on that ridiculous idea that he floated about arresting Bibi Netanyahu?
I think it was a brilliant idea on his part for their base. He knew going into it he had no power to arrest Netanyahu. But look at the publicity, Rob, that he got out of it. I mean, Zohran Mamdani was on the news 24 hours a day on all news networks.
That's true.
Fox, Newsmax, including all the leftist media, wall to wall, 24 hours a day. And you know what President Trump says?
What?
No publicity is bad publicity. Remember he said
That's
that
true,
in the
that's
90s
true,
when
that's
everybody
true.
was talking about Trump?
Yeah.
Zohran Mamdani understands that. And he's building a name. It was such a PR stunt that made him a brand name in the Democratic Party and a kingmaker within the Democratic Party.
That's true.
Because just the fact of him saying that attracted new people, socialist people who hate Israel to his party, even including on the moderates and on the right, saying, you know what? If he can arrest Bibi Netanyahu, good for him because Israel is controlling American politics.
I got you. One more thing. One more thing before we go, and I know you're not Persian, but I've got a Match.com profile, and there is a Persian woman who I've been talking to. And if I were going to date a Persian woman, what advice would you give me?
Oh boy.
I thought I'd throw that out at the very end. I just thought it was kind of interesting because I saw this woman. She was flirting with me online, and I said, "Are you Persian?" And she goes, "Yes." How did you know? I said, "You just look Persian." Go ahead.
Be kind and respectful and protective. The one thing Persian women and people come from the Middle East or those cultures, they are used to men who are macho, who feel they can abuse or disrespect their women.
I'm not that.
So the way to earn her heart is to be a good protector and provider. That's how you're going to earn a Middle Eastern woman's heart.
I'm good at all those things, girl. I'm good at all those things. Brigitte Gabriel, you are the absolute best. ActForAmerica.org. Give us a real quick pitch for ActForAmerica.org. You got 30 seconds. Go.
Go to our website right now. We are the largest freedom-fighting grassroots movement in the United States. We are now working to pass the SAVE Act. Go to actforamerica.org. Go on our Act Now campaigns and take action. Sign up to receive our emails and action alerts. We are mobilizing the country. We are passing bills, and we are impacting policy. Join us.
All right. God bless you. We'll talk again soon. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. The woman isn't actually, she's of Persian descent. She's not from the region. But I was looking at her, and she's black hair, beautiful. Not my type, really, But I said, "Are you Persian?" And she goes, "Yes." "How did you know?" I said, "You just look Persian." And I'm good at noticing traits and, that sort of stuff. So I don't know if I'm going to go out with her or not. I don't really care to date anyone right now, to be quite honest. Don't really care to. Don't care right now. Got too much other crap on my plate. My daughter's going to be leaving to go back to Kansas City here in a few weeks. It's been a pretty good summer with her. I've enjoyed having her. I'm going to be very lonely when she's gone. So anyway, Timothy, 39, Mayor Zohran Mamdani tearfully admitted in a recorded statement that he doesn't have any legal authority to invade Poland. That's funny. Oh, that's funny. That was nice. Hello, DC42. Very busy today. I was trying to remember if it was Radner's Rosanna Dana that Brigitte reminded me of. No, I understand what you mean, but Rosanna Dana, she'd come up with this premise and this argument, and then they could easily shoot it down, and she'd go, oh, never mind. But kind of a little bit like that. A little bit like that. She's like boom, 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 Right, she is. She's boom, 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 boom. Who got a fractured pelvis? What the hell's going on? Roundup Pony says that is kind of how you get a fractured pelvis. Maybe he will crack his... I don't even know what this is about. I don't know what you're talking about. But you guys look like you're having fun. You look like you're having fun. I got to talk. What am I going to do before I go? Maybe some Rob Finnerty. I got to talk.
Ballot in the mail and didn't know.
Got to rejoin.
What'd you say?
3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Got to rejoin.
So you preferred your pronouns to be
they and them.
they, them. Okay.
So, do you need me to explain how to use that?
Nope, because I'm not going to.
There you go. Rob Finnerty did a great job last night talking about these New Jersey illegal aliens who voted, 400 of them, 15,000 on the voter rolls. Illegal aliens registered to vote. Here's Finnerty on Newsmax.
Here's a CNN headline yesterday, quote, 6,600 non-citizens mistakenly added to New Jersey voter rolls. The implication being that these poor people got a ballot in the mail and didn't know what to do, so they just thought they might go down and vote.
Yeah.
Allegedly, reportedly, of course. But the implication, again, this is not me saying this is CNN.
Yeah.
But the implication is basically that illegal immigrants are just too stupid to know the difference.
No, not at all.
If you're in the country illegally and you get a letter saying that you can vote, and you know you're not supposed to, not only you're not supposed to vote, you're not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Why do you vote? Like, how do you get registered for a party?
To vote.
Some of them
To vote.
but I just wonder, that's some stupid business.
Jake.
Yes.
They vote because they want to keep the free Dravy train going.
Yeah.
And they vote because they know that the media, people like Jake, will cover for them. And that's exactly what is happening now.
Now, here's another great point from
today.
Rob Finnerty.
Headline after headline writing that this was just some sort of accident, or it was a glitch, or it was a software error.
Nope.
It was just an accident. It was all some big mistake, which is a lie, and it's a lie on top of so many other lies that you've been told lately.
Yes.
Fine, it was a software error. Let's go with that. But then why did they go and vote? And why haven't these people been arrested? Voting illegally in our elections is a federal crime. You can go to jail for that.
Boom.
And we certainly have all their names because they went and voted.
There you go. That is just great commentary by Finnerty. I've known Rob Finnerty since Kansas City when I was on the radio there, and then I sold cars, and he came to New York City and became a part of Newsmax. Freaking phenomenal. And pithy and humorous, and he does like these humorous monologues that are just brilliant. He uses humor to make a point, like I do, by the way. The Newsmax lineup is terrific. If you're not watching Newsmax, you should download the Newsmax app, become a Newsmax Plus member. I mean it. I really do. And then, of course, my TV show is called Rob Carson's What in the World. Donald Trump says it makes me the funniest man on television. That's going to do it for the show. Did we have fun today in the new studios here in Washington, D.C.? I think we did. God bless you. Our country is founded. Donald Trump kicking butt, by the way. To hell with the DSA, by the way. And until tomorrow, which by the grace of God is finally Friday, do not catch the stupid. I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.